Hey guys, would you look at that? That's crazy. It's a random tier list that showed up. Huh. Well, I mean, I guess I have to fill it out, right? Well, yeah, I mean I do. Okay, so this is the Sword and Shield alternate art tier list. This will be my craziest list yet, my most ambitious, amazing list yet. And you know what? I think it's going to be a great list because this is going to be my 101st video, and this is really just like a celebration of the channel and a celebration of you guys, everybody who tunes in to watch. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to like share my love, share my appreciation for, the craft, as you were to say. So this is going to be the art guys kind of tier list for Sword and Shield alternate arts. Obviously, when I get to the sets, I'll talk about them a little bit more further detail, but right now I'm in the EX era, so I'm nowhere near. I kind of organized these from sets. It might be like one or two cards out of order. Other than that, I think we should just get right into it. So I'm going to be using TCG Player for better images of the Pokemon cards. Starting off pretty strong with the Empoleon V alt art from Battle Styles. This card, always one of my personal favorites. This one's by Chibi. I really like Chibi's artwork a lot. It features Empoleon, obviously a really cool Pokemon. My favorite, like my favorite starter when I was a kid, growing up playing Diamond and Pearl. Well, yeah, I played a Pearl, but Empoleon was my starter. So Empoleon, I have a tight, like close connection with. But I think the card looks fantastic too. I mean, you have Empoleon in the foreground standing on a rock. You got Mindfu as well, and then you have a bunch of little phalanxes being cute. I think the card is nice. It features many different Pokemon. Empoleon looks really cool, and he still is like the main focus, even though there are other Pokemon in it. I think it's a beautiful looking card. It's regal. This card really $40. Okay, yeah. Prices aside, we're just talking about the artworks here. This is the first strong contender, and I'm gonna put it in A tier because I love that card a lot, and I don't, like I really love it a lot. That's it. I just think it's a really really cool looking card. Let's see here. Our next card is the Urshifu V Alt Art from Battle Styles, the first one. So there's going to be a bunch of alt arts. This one is by Koei, so this is for the single strike Urshifu. Kind of got like that like strong man like esque kind of personality. The kind of rough exterior. He's got like an upset looking face. I have the card in person. I think it looks really nice. I'm a big fan of Koei's artworks in general. I like all the debris. I like how they made like Urshifu like dark, and they made the background dark as well, so it kind of contrasts pretty well. It's like overall pretty dark looking card. The Pokemon, he looks like he would be a dark type. He looks like he'd be evil. He looks like he'd be strong. Um, I'm gonna have to throw it in B tier. I don't know. I would know if I would say it's better than the Empoleon, just because I kind of prefer like the vibe of the Empoleon VL art a little bit better. Um, but I think the Urshifu V single strike is still pretty great. This one is really nice too. The Rapid Strike Urshifu by Ryota Murayama. I've always really loved this card a lot. I picked it up when it was around like $10. It's still around like $13, so it hasn't really gone up that much. Um, I don't see it really climbing that much because Urshifu's not really a super popular Pokemon. I think that this artwork is fantastic though. I love how majestic Urshifu looks on this card, which is kind of weird because Urshifu isn't really a majestic Pokemon. Um, they really gave it like a really nice looking vibe though. I love like how it's standing on like these like rock pillars, and I love the trees in the back and the village as well. And then you have like these like sways of water that it's trying to control. I think that it's really cool. I think it's a bit better than the other Urshifu. And I'm actually partial to Koei's artwork, so I have a little bit more of a bias in that sense. But let's talk about the big boy, the Tyranitar. So this is the Tyranitar by Hayaganosuke, which is one of the I would say one of the better more newer gen artists. Um, Actually, they might not be super newer gen. Anyways, I think that their artwork is fantastic. I think that this encapsulates Tyranitar's personality perfectly, even though it's not what you would expect from a Tyranitar card. Like you'd expect like this imposing, really cool looking Tyranitar card. Yeah, we've gotten those before, but this one is a complete like left field, take of what Tyranitar should be and what it is, And I think that makes it like the perfect card. It's a beautiful artwork. It's one of my favorites from Battle Styles. I think I like it a little bit better. Not a lot better than the Empoleon, but I do like it a bit better. It just stands out a little bit more in terms of like just like an artwork. You can see it just by itself as a unique artwork. Let's see here. So now I'm just gonna open both of these really quick. So we'll talk about the actually we'll talk about this one first. Single Strike Urshifu VMAX alternate art by Kinu Nishimura. So Kinu Nishimura is actually like an artist who does stuff for like fighting games, I'm pretty sure. Um so it kind of has like that kind of vibe to it. It brings like an explosive kind of energy. The background is nice. I like Urshifu VMAX. Like I like how the Gigantamax is kind of like has like those white eyes. I think that's pretty cool. And its Gigantamax form is pretty cool. Um, but it's not my favorite alternate art. I think it's a really nice looking one. I really like the deep red colors. Um, I'll put it in like low B tier for now. This will change probably as we go on the list. We have the Rapid Strike Urshifu VMAX for also obviously Battle Styles by Kiyotaka Oshiyama. So Oshiyama is one of my personal favorite artists like of all time. I love their artwork. They always put so much care, so much effort into their artwork. You can see just by how many Pokemon there are in this card that this card has obviously got a lot of detail in it. But I also think it's really just a really beautiful artwork. I really love this just like really cool depiction of Urshifu as it sits in the middle, like spewing water out and like all these water type Pokemon flying around. You got Corviknight, obviously not a water type, but you have Cramorant, Clobbopus, Pincurchin, and like Arrokuda. You just have like all these really, really cool Pokemon just crowded around the Urshifu. I think it's a really awesome artwork. Definitely solidifies in my first S tier of the list. All right, I'm back. So we have the Ice Rider Calyrex V by Okacheke. This card features many different Pokemon. So you have Teddiursa, Spheal, Litleo, and then you have Deerling and Calyrex itself. This card looks pretty majestic. I really like how they're walking on the water, and you can see Calyrex kind of freezing the water as it steps on it. I like the particles and the effects and the trees in the background. I think that the card looks fantastic. Um, Honestly, I have to put it above the single strike Urshifu VMAX, um, and this one as well. I think the colors just stand out a little bit more. We have Shadow Rider, Calyrex V. So this is one of my personal favorite artworks in the whole entire Sword and Shield era. I love Kodama's artwork a lot. I think they're one of my favorite artists as well. Um, I don't know, the vibe of this card is just fantastic. I love how like they're in like this deep like this is like the deep woods, like deep, deep, deep. And you have like the little Squovits there like peeking over like nervous. You have Calyrex like kind of tending to Spectrier here. I really love the colors on this card. I think it looks fantastic, honestly. I really love this card a lot. And it's a weird thing because Calyrex isn't my favorite Pokemon of all time, but this is one of my favorite alternate arts of all time. And I'll put it right here for now because I don't want to like make any too controversial takes yet, but I will go off of what my opinion is. Tornadus V. This is by Tetsuya Koizumi. Tetsuya Koizumi has like this really cool like cartoony art style. I love their thick outlines though. I think that's like one of the main drawing points of their cards. I really like this card actually. It has a bunch of single strike Pokemon in it. Um, and you have a starter, you got Scorbunny in it, but you also have Tornadus like controlling the winds, making all these Pokemon fly around. They're kind of flying like a little arc, which is pretty cool. You also had like the Dynamax trees or whatever from the games. I think that the card is pretty cool. I'm kind of impartial to Tornadus. I'm not really a huge fan of it. Um, I'll put it in B tier now, or for now though. We have the Blissey V alt art by Saya Saruta. I don't mind this card. I think Saya Saruta is a perfectly awesome artist, and I love a lot of their cards actually. Um, they have a Deoxys card that I really love. Um, but I would say that it's probably not my favorite alternate art of all time, unfortunately. I think that Blissey is a Pokemon, excuse me, that I don't really care for personally. And I don't know. I think the card is cute, but it works better. It would work better if it was like a trainer gallery card rather than an alternate art. I don't know. With the pull rates that alternate arts have, I think it's gonna be my first C tier. Probably gonna move it down too. But that's the thing. That's the game you play when you play a game like this. You're facing a lot of tough opponents, and tough opponents like this, Galarian Slowking by Tomokazu Kamiya. I love Tomokazu Kamiya as an artist a lot. I think Tomokazu has a really great style. I don't really love this card, honestly. I kind of like it, but I kind of don't, like in a way. I like Tomokazu's style a lot, and I think Slowking is a perfectly fine Pokemon to use, like Galarian Slowking. There's just something about this card that I don't really like, though. I don't really like the weird like the letters in the ocean or like the river. I don't know. This just is not really my favorite Tomokazu Kamiya card or my favorite alternate art, which is kind of weird. I think Tomokazu is a fantastic artist, and I really love a lot of their cards. I just don't think this is my favorite card from them, and I think that kind of affects my opinion on like where I put that. Um, I don't know if I would say that it's better than the Blissey in my opinion. I don't think that Tomokazu is a bad artist at all. I'm not really partial to that card. Um, okay, so this is kind of going in random order at this point. Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. This is by Oswaldo Cato. This is one of Oswaldo Cato's first cards, I'm pretty sure. I like this card. I think it has a really cute vibe to it. I like Calyrex kind of like bringing down a icicle scape. I always like when they put like the Dynamax raid layers in the background of cards or like somewhere in the cards. I think that's always a cool idea. And I think they executed it well in this card. I like Oswaldo Cato's style a lot, and I just like this card a lot. Um, yeah, I think it's really cool, and it's not my favorite alternate art for sure. But I think it's cool. I think it's better than these two, and I think I would put it at the top of C tier. I don't think it's a bad card by any means, and I think Elzodo Kato is a fantastic artist, but that's just where I would put it. Galarian Zapdos, Akira Komayama. I like Akira Komayama, and I like this card. I like Galarian Zapdos a lot, and they really kind of emphasize the Roadrunner vibes with like the smoke particles that it like goes for while it's traveling. I think like the rocks falling is also a really nice touch. It kind of like follows the Pokemon as it runs. The sky is plain, but that's okay because the main Pokemon here is Galarian Zapdos, which has like a really cool color that really contrasts with the rest of the environment that Komayama built for the Pokemon. You even get to see like all the way in the back, you get to see the dust cloud, and you kind of see where the Pokemon traced its trail like along the area. I think it's a really awesome looking card, honestly. I have to put it in A tier for sure. I think it's a really really cool one. I think I like it more than the Shadow Rider, and I kind of like it more than Tyranitar, honestly. But I wouldn't put it in S tier. Let's see, Zero Aura. So Zero Aura, this one's by Atsushi Furusawa. They have a lot of really gorgeous cards, and I actually really love this card a lot. I think my opinion on it has kind of changed since I first liked it because I really did like it for a long time, and I think it's a really beautiful card. I think that my opinion has changed on it a little bit. I would say that it was an S tier before, but my opinion on it has definitely kind of changed now. I think it's beautiful. I think it's gorgeous. I think it's definitely an A tier card for sure. There's nothing striking against that. I don't know if it's better than Shadow Rider. I'm gonna adjust these down a little bit. I'm gonna keep it for like this for now. I think the Empoleon is beautiful, but it's gonna stay top of B tier for now. Um, Zero Aura is amazing, but I don't know if I can put it any higher than A tier, unfortunately. I really do like the card a lot though. We have the Galarian Articuno. This one's by Uta. This one has like Articuno in a bubble. You have Rufflet and Chinchou in it. I think this card is really cool too. Uta is an artist who I'm not incredibly familiar with. Oh, I didn't know you could sort by artist on TCG Player. That's not correct. Um, I think that Articuno is a cool Pokemon, especially Galarian Articuno. I think this artwork is pretty cool. I don't think it's my favorite alternate artwork from Chilling Reign. And I don't think it's my favorite alternate art of all time. I'm gonna say that much. I think it's in B tier, maybe C tier, top of C tier. I think is fair. I don't hate the artwork or anything, and I don't mind Galarian Articuno at all. I just think some of these artworks that I've seen before are just a little bit better in my opinion. Um, and I think the Galarian Rapidash from Sui is a really cool card too. I used to hate this card, I'm not gonna lie to you, but that's just because I didn't really look at it as much. I think it's a really cool looking card. Obviously I can sit here and praise every single card that I come across saying that it's a beautiful artwork by an artist. Um, I think that Sui is a pretty cool artist. This doesn't sort correctly. It says the artist, but it's like that's sorting by Suicune cards. It's a nice looking card. I don't think it's my favorite alternate art, but I don't think it's the worst alternate art of all time. I'll put it here. And I'm sorry, Tomokazu. You gotta sit at the bottom of the list for now. I'm really sorry. It's not I don't hate that card. It's just not my favorite Tomokazu Kamiya card, and there's just something about that that kind of irks me. This card is a really beautiful card, though. I love the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. Apparently, people are starting to love it too. The card was for 50 bucks, and now it's jumped all the way up to 80. This one's by Mitsuhiro Rita. I think this card is absolutely amazing. This is Mitsuhiro Rita's first alternate art in the Sword and Shield era, and dude, this card bangs. Like, I think that Calyrex looks super cool in this card. I don't like Calyrex, but I think that making the choice of making like the VMAX clouds blue instead of red really adds to the card. You even have the raids, the Dynamax raids that I was talking about in the Ice Rider Calyrex, which I think adds a cool vibe to the card. And you have like these really beautiful trees, and then the trainer looking out with the Emolga. I think that's like such a cool like touch, and you have like this imposing view of the Pokemon where it's like in the skies. I think that's a really beautiful artwork. I think it's one of my favorite cards in the whole set, if not one of my favorite alternate arts of all time. I'm gonna put it in S tier. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion, but I don't care. Galarian Moltres by Shibuzo. I think Shibuzo is a wonderful artist. I think this card is really cool. I love how it's so symmetrical. I love the moon in the background. I love like the clouds. Shibuzo's clouds are just so nice in this card. Like those like the grainy clouds. The flames look beautiful. I think that the trees with like the eyes in them, that's such a cool idea. And honestly, this alternate art is like really, really cool card. Definitely A tier, probably S tier, honestly. I think it's probably one of my favorite cards that I'm seeing right now on this list. There's a reason it's so expensive. This card is $180. That's pretty expensive. It's never been that expensive before, and yeah, I don't think it's gonna stop anytime soon. Blazing and VMAX. This is the most expensive card in Chilling Reign, and I don't understand why. I'm not gonna lie. I think that the most expensive card in this set should be the Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX or the Moltres, not the Blaziken VMAX. Shigenori Negishi is an artist who I have many things to say about. I don't think they're a bad artist. This art features like the raid dens in the background. It features the sun, and you have like the Inteleon evolution line and Blaziken striking up a cool pose. It really isn't my favorite alternate art though. There's just something about Negishi's style that kind of rubs me the wrong way. And the thing is, like, I don't really like hate any artists at all. Like, I don't hate any artworks at all. I'm gonna put this in D tier. I'm sorry. Um, like I said, I don't really hate any artists at all. It's just maybe it's not a D tier card though. I think it's a D tier card. I'm sorry. I can't with that. And if you want a more in-depth explanation, it's just because I think that the way that they use those grainy lines, the way that Blaziken's hands don't look right in this card for some reason. They look a little bit too folded. I think that they did a really fantastic job with like the sun and then like the rays behind the Pokemon. Um, I don't know, it's a combination of like their shading and these Pokemon have like weird feet, and it's like I think the vibe of the card is cool. I like what they were going for, but I don't think this card should be $400. Like, I don't know, man. It's just does this card really seem like a $400 card to you? And I'm not trying to hate on the card, but I like personally I love the Rainbow Blaziken VMAX a lot because I like Akira Agawa's artwork and I think it looks really cool in the Rainbow Blaziken. But it's like look at this. Like I don't think they made Blaziken's hand weird in this card, but in this card their hand looks like thick. It looks really thick for some reason. Anyways, rant over. But Blaziken VMAX can sit in D tier for now, and that's just my opinion. That's kind of controversial, I'm sure, but whatever. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pull up all the Evolving Skies alternate arts. I'll be back in a second. All right, I changed websites from TCG Player to Justin Basil. So let's just see this. These artwork highlights are a lot better anyways. So let's just start off strong. We have Leafeon by Yu Iribi. I like this card, and I don't think I need to explain that much about it. It's an evolution card. Everybody's gonna like the evolution cards. I just don't think this is my favorite evolution card. I think it's better than C tier. Maybe not actually. I think it sits like right here. It's like not my favorite alternate art from Evolving Skies, but it's definitely not my least favorite alternate art from Evolving Skies. Leafeon VMAX, on the other hand, by Hayago Nosuke. Again, Hayago Nosuke knocking it out of the park, as usual, with that beautiful VMAX style. I don't know, there's something about this card that it just really draws me. Again, Raid Den in the background, that's cool, but you also have Leafeon just kind of like messing with like a hay bale. You kind of have like this really cozy kind of leafy vibe, which is exactly the whole point of Leafeon. I think that the V does that perfectly fine too with like the patches of leaves, but this card just has like a really nice vibe to it. I think it's like a gorgeous artwork, and I think it fits Leafeon perfectly. I think this card is really fantastic, and I think it's gonna be at least an A tier, if not, no, honestly, it's an S tier card. It's just so iconic. It's like I don't know. It's the artwork itself is just really gorgeous, and I think it looks really cool. I love their shading. I love how Leafeon looks like rolling the hay bale. I don't know. And then we also have the Glaceon by Narumi Sato. We're gonna have to kind of move through these a little bit quicker because Evolving Skies has a lot of alt arts. I think this card is probably not my favorite alternate art in the whole set. I kind of like it more than Leafeon. I kind of like like shading a little bit better. Like I like how it's like patchy almost. Um, that being said, I think it's like a high high C tier card, maybe a little bit better than the Articuno. Um, Blissey's gonna move down to D tier. I think it's better than the Blaziken though. Um, yeah, that's my justification for that one. I like the Espeon V a lot, actually. Soso is one of my. Actually, I don't think Soso is one of my favorite artists. What am I talking about? Definitely not. But I like Soso. I think Soso makes some really great cards, and I think this card is no different. I like Espeon using their like psychic powers to like open books, and there's all the books are different kinds of books. Um, you have an Eevee one, you got a Ditto one, you got like um I don't know. I just think that it's cool. And Espeon sitting on top of a chair. I really like all the books in the back as well. I think it's all really, really cool. And I think it's very unique as well. And I think it definitely deserves to be at least an A tier for sure. I think it's a really unique card. I think it just looks really cool. Yeah. And then that's where I'm gonna put it, I think. Maybe like right here. And maybe right here. I really like it a lot. I'll say that much. Glaceon VMAX by Kirisaki. So this card has the Ray Dents in the background. That's cool. You got Feebas, Meryl, Azumarill, Pancham, Eevee, and Pikachu. And then you have Big Glaceon, obviously. I like this card. I like it quite a bit. It's not my favorite alternate artwork from Evolving Skies. It kind of gives me similar vibes to the Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. Um, but in a good way. I think it's a good card. I don't think it's a bad card. Definitely not. Far from it. I think it's a really cool looking card. I'm gonna put it in B tier though. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like the red glow that Glaceon has, but I was never really partial to Glaceon. Mm. But I like it kind of like making all the water around it ice. I think that's a cool idea. Sorry, I know that this is kind of like a really hard decision. I don't know why. Because I feel like this is the alternate art that I don't really think about evolving from Evolving Skies the most. I think it's an A tier, but no, it's B tier. I'm putting it in B tier. Final answer. I think that that card, the Glaring Rapidash, I don't think any of these cards are like awful. Obviously, all our alternate arts deserve to be alternate arts, but like those are just the ones that I'm not partial to the most. You know, like I just prefer other ones the most. Golurk V from Evolving Skies. Oh, you have a big picture for Espeon and not Golurk? That's kind of messed up, man. Hold on. Let me Whoa. Let's see. Let's see a big picture of Golurk. This card is awesome, man. I love this card so much. I have it, so I'm biased, and I love Golurk, so I'm biased. But I think Oswaldo Cato did a fantastic job with this alternate art. I think that it having multiple Pokemon, it has like Swablu and Nickit, kind of add to it. I like Golurk holding the giant log. At least he's doing something, you know, he's walking around. Um, I don't know. I think it's really cool. I like the architecture. I like the trees. I like how they're kind of out of focus as well. Um, that like kind of style that Kato used for this card, along with his like cool bridge, I think is a really cool looking alternate art, and I really like it a lot. Uh-oh, where are we at? Where are we at right now? Hmm. Oh, there we are. Okay, let's see. Golurk is like an A tier card. I think it's really cool looking. I don't think it's any higher than A tier. I think it's like right here. Maybe like right here. Yeah, it's right there for me. Sylveon V is pretty cool. This one's by Yu Nishida. I like the cupcakes. I like the sweet area. I like this like little, excuse me, this little illustration of Sylveon on here. I think that's pretty cute. And I like the light peeking in. Um, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cute. I don't know if it's better than the Leafeon though. I kind of like the Leafeon a little bit better. Mm, yeah, I'm gonna put it there for now. I'm actually gonna bump this up a little bit and then bump this one down. Yeah, that sounds a little bit, seems a little bit better. Yeah, you're gonna go there. And next we have the Metacham by Kiyotaka Oshiyama. I like Kiyotaka Oshiyama a lot, as I said with the Urshifu VMAX. And I think this card is no different. I think it's really cool. You have like a bunch of different Metachams. Like, look at this. Okay, so I don't think anybody's ever looked at this card for more than like 5 seconds, but you have Cloyster, Scorch, Plusle, Minun, and you have Jumpluff. But yeah, and you also have Hoppip and Skiploom as well, which is kind of cool that you have the whole evolution line. But not only that, but like look at all these Medichams. Look at how many there are. There's so many different Medichams. They all go all the way up the hill, all the way up into this really, really cool. Look, there's even all along the walls as well, and along these walls. Like there's so many Medichams. This card is so intricate. It's like whenever Kiyotaka Oshiyama does an alternate artwork, it's like so good. This is such a cool looking card. I don't care that like nobody likes Medicham or whatever. Like I don't care about that. It's like the little details on this card add up so fast, and it makes this card really, really awesome. And I like the temple in the background, like the castle or whatever. I don't know. And you have like the one Medicham who's highlighted is the one who's in the middle. Like that's such cool. It's such a cool idea. And it's like you wouldn't be able to sit here and tell me that that alternate art isn't doing anything because it is. It's posing in a cool way, and it's surrounded by a bunch of cool looking Pokemon, and it has like a really cool idea. I don't know. Like even I, somebody who loves alternate arts, somebody who loves artworks in Pokemon cards, never looked at that card for more than 5 seconds. And I think it's a really cool card, honestly. I'm not trying to like be upset about this. I'm not. This isn't like me trying to be like whining about it. But I just think the card is cool. Anyways, Umbreon by Tay Zero. I like how Umbreon is like standing on a wall with the moon in the background. Obviously, Umbreon is associated with the moon. Um, yeah, I have a bunch of different Pokemon down here. Is that Flareon in the middle? I think that might be Flareon. That's cool. Pinsir, Grimmsnarl, another Pinsir, Morgrim, and I think that's Flareon. That's cool. It's not my favorite alternate art in the set, but it's pretty darn cool. I would say that I like it a good amount, but I'm gonna put it in B tier. I'm gonna put it at the top of B tier. I think that that's also a controversial opinion, but I don't know. It's just not my favorite alternate art from the whole set. I like T-Zero's artwork a lot. I like the buildings and stuff in the back, but I don't know. I almost kind of wish it was more open. Like I wish there was like more to look at like in the card. I get that it's supposed to be like an alleyway, but I think that I just like kind of wish there was a little bit more to look at almost. Like I wish it was just expanded a little bit more. Obviously it's not a bad thing though. I can't judge on art if I'm not an artist myself, you know, but so obviously don't take my opinions as facts, but I don't know, just my opinion. And then we have another alt art by Atsushi Furusawa, which is cool. So we have more than one. This is the Sleeping Dragonite. I have this card. I pulled it from Evolving Skies, and it doesn't connect with me, honestly. Dragonite is not a Pokemon that connects with me personally. I think Dragonite's cute or whatever. And it's like a $200 alternate art, so that's cool. That's cool for the alternate art people. That's not cool for me though. I don't know. I don't see what other people see in this card, and I think that's perfectly fine. Everybody's willing to like perfectly fine to have their opinions. I think that it's cool that there's like a bunch of different like I don't know. I like Furo. I like the Spearows and Furos flying below it. Um, it's just like in the Sleeping Tyranitar, you had a lot more to look at because there's like a bunch of plates around the Pokemon. There's like a tree, and then you have like a Pignite scared for its life. In this card, it's just Dragonite sleeping. Um, it's a cool idea. Don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad idea, and I think Atsushi Furusawa is a really great artist. It's just not my favorite alt art. Honestly, it really isn't. I just wish there was some more stuff going on in the card. Honestly, because okay, so this is the thing. It's like people will be like, "Oh, I hate it when alt arts aren't doing anything," but this alt art, he's literally not doing anything. Sure, you can say the same thing about the Tyranitar as well, but like, there's a story to it. What's the story to this one? He just fell asleep. That's the story. I just feel like the Tyranitar has a little bit more like context behind it than the Dragonite, which is why it's like, yeah, they're both sleeping alternate arts, so shouldn't be like the same? But they're not, you know? They're just a different thing for a different person. Anyways, yeah, I put it in C tier. The Rayquaza by Ryota Fuse. I like this card. I like Zinnia. I like the Delta episode, even though the Delta episode has some weird writing. It's kind of a little bit outdated. I think this card is really cool. I love Rayquaza. Rayquaza is one of my favorite Pokemon. Obviously, I'm also a Gen 3 person because I played Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire growing up. I mean, obviously, if I like Zinnia, then I like that. But Whismur is cute in this card. I think this card is really cool. It totally could have been a trainer gallery card too. Just saying. But I think it's a pretty dope looking one. I think it's cool. I think it's pretty awesome. I don't think it's like a B tier card. I think it's like a tier card for sure. Is it in my S tier? Probably not. But I do think it's a pretty cool looking card. Next, I've got the Noivern V. This is by Mitsuhiro Rita. This is probably one of the coolest cards in the whole set. Remember when I said I wish the Umbreon V was a little bit more open? This is what I meant. Like look at how cool Noivern looks in this card. The card is perfect. It's open. It's like you have a great view of the night sky, but you also have these super detailed buildings. And Mitsuhiro Rita does these fantastic jobs with like the super detailed, like how like detailed the bricks are on the house. And like Noivern is like perfectly textured and like this card just looks fantastic. It makes even Noivern look like a cool Pokemon, and that's super hard to do because Noivern is not the most interesting Pokemon in the world. Popular, sure, but not the most interesting Pokemon or anything. Definitely, if it wasn't an S tier, it would be an A tier, and I think it's one of the coolest alternate arts like that we've ever seen. Speaking of cool alternate arts that I really love, I love this Duraludon altar art by Naoki Saito. I love Duraludon a lot. I have three of these cards, so I think that probably tells you as much as you need to know about how I feel about this card. I like how Raihan is in it. It does look like a trainer gallery card almost, but I think that's a good thing in this sense. Like it was a good thing with the Zinnia, or the not the Zinnia, the Rayquaza. See, I already thought it was a trainer gallery. Anyways, I think this card is really cool. I love Duraludon a lot, and I like how he's just holding some curry and Raihan is like just standing behind the Pokemon. It's his buddy, it's his friend. And you got like the little Rotom phone that Raihan usually carries around him. You have like a bunch of like ingredients on the table, and then you have Duraludon, which is it's cool because it's like a Pokemon that you wouldn't really associate with food, holding some food for his trainer, and I think that's really cool. I think this card is in my S tier. I don't really have to justify for myself for this card because I love Duraludon, but I think this is one of my favorite cards of all time. Honestly, I just love it so much. I think it's one of the cutest alternate arts ever, and it's such a like an uncharacteristic card for a Pokemon like Duraludon. So we moved on to some VMAX alternate arts. This is what I'm talking about. This card is awesome. Again, more raid dense in the background. I think that's a really good theme. You've got a bunch of different Pokemon in this card though. You got Kangaskhan, Marshadow, Vaporeon, Eevee, another Eevee, another Eevee, and then you also have Floette. That's really cool. And Sylveon is inside of like a festival or something, and you've got like all these like ribbons and sparkles and effects. It's perfect. It's cute. That's the whole vibe of Sylveon. That's the whole point of the Pokemon. I think this card is really cool looking. There I say the artist Taira Akitsu. Yeah, Taira Akitsu. I like Taira Akitsu's artwork. I don't remember specifically what cards they've done, but I know I like their artworks and I know I like their cards. And I will put this card firmly in my S tier. You know what? Yeah, screw it. I'm putting it in the S tier. Why not? You're gonna move down. You're gonna move down. It's weird seeing an evolution in the D tier, isn't it? This list is pretty balanced though. I would say that this list is like fairly balanced. Maybe there's too many cards in S tier. You can go in A tier. You can go in B tier. You are not moving from S tier. None of these cards are moving from S tier. I think they all definitely deserve it. There's just a lot of alternate arts to cover, so a lot of them are going to be in S tier. Umbreon VMAX, though, by Keiichiro Ito. I think this card is cool. Yeah, I said it. I think this card is cool. It has a raid. It has a raid den. I like the colors of the sky in this card, and I think the moon look really, really, really cool. Um, is it a $1,000 card? No, absolutely not. Um, I think this card is cool, but it's not my favorite alternate art or anything. I think it's like a B tier card, maybe. There's just so many really. I don't think it's better than the Metacham. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think the Metacham really just won my heart, and I don't think that's really gonna change anything. Um, I think the Glaceon is better. I think the Umbreon V is better. I think the Zeraora is definitely better. This is like the definer of my list. If this is better, like if your card is better than this card, then that's a very perfect alternate art. And if it's not, then it's not a perfect alternate art, but it's a really good alternate art. Anyways, Rayquaza VMAX or Rayquaza VMAX. I'm saying both because why not? I think this card is really cool. It's by Anisaki Dynamic. I like the ruins. It's really, really cool actually. Taking a closer look at the card, you have one, two, three, four, five, six Raidens, but you also have this like ruined, destroyed city before, but like right below Rayquaza as it's like looking down at the city. That's a really cool idea for a card. And it's like yeah, it kind of just looks like a Rayquaza just like flying into the sky, which is kind of like wouldn't the Dragonite and the Rayquaza be like kind of similar in that sense because they're just flying? But Rayquaza is like lower to the ground, and you see like this like ruined and destroyed city below the Pokemon, and I think that's just a cool idea as well. And Rayquaza is ginormous in this card. The Gmax Clouds kind of take away from like Rayquaza's intimidating presence in this card, but I think it's still a really cool looking card. I think it's like definitely an A tier card for sure. Um, I think it's definitely better than the Umbreon VMAX, 100%. I like Rayquaza a lot more than Umbreon, so that's just me. Anyways, we only have one more alternate art from Evolving Skies. It's the Duraludon VMAX by Saki Hayashiro. This card is pretty cool because you get to see Rayquaza's shadow in the card. I don't know if you can see like right on Duraludon, but that doesn't really make that much sense though because isn't Rayquaza in a maybe that's what Rayquaza is looking at. He's looking at Duraludon. You know what? Maybe I never really thought about that, and and Duraludon's looking up at Rayquaza, but that doesn't really make sense either because well, okay, actually, no, I could see it. Anyways, I think this card is cool. You have three Gmax dens in the background. I actually, the thing is like I actually don't like this card that much, funnily enough. But I think that the effects on the card surrounding it are really cool. Again, you never really look that much at a card that you automatically assume that you don't like. But I think that this card is perfectly fine. I think I like it quite a lot actually. I like how Duraludon looks in its Gigantamax form, and I think it's just a cool looking card. Obviously no like S tier card or anything, but I think it deserves to be in C tier for sure. Yeah, I think it deserves to be there. Those effects that they put around the card are so cool. Like it's like plasma almost. And I like the details of the houses and stuff as well. Anyways, let's move on to the Fusion Strike alternate arts. Hold on one second. All right, time for Fusion Strike. Fusion Strike is going to be a lot shorter than the other set, just because Fusion Strike is a lot smaller than Evolving Skies. Fusion Strike has some baller artworks in it. Mew V by Naoki Saito, another banger card by a great artist. I think that this card is pretty cool. I like how all the Pokemon are running along. You have Mew, you got Dreepy, you got Toxel, Toxtricity, Smeargle, and I actually don't know what that is right there, but other than that, me not knowing that, I think it's cool. I like the sparkly effects. I like the confetti. I think that's kind of funny. Um, and Mew definitely is the highlight of the card. You get to see a good chunk of Mew in that card. Look at, he stands out in the card. I think that's pretty cool. Mew V is not my favorite alternate art by any means. I think Naoki Saito is a wonderful artist, personally. I think it sits perfectly right here in the middle of C tier. That's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Next, we have the Celebi from Tay Zero. I think they're in like some kind of city. Pretty sure this is one of the cities in Sword and Shield. I like Celebi as a Pokemon. I like how they're growing. Oh my goodness, sorry. I like how they're growing like the leaves on the dead trees. I think that's a pretty cool idea for a card. And I think that Tay does a really good job with drawing environments. And this is what I was talking about. I kind of prefer this over the Umbreon V in a way. Not that I'm saying it's a better card or anything. I just like how it's much more open. I think Tay does a good job when it comes to open artworks. But that being said, I don't think it's as good as the Umbreon. Maybe I put the Umbreon too high. I don't have any time to reconsider that. I think that the Celebi V is perfectly fine. It's not my favorite alternate art. Boom, Dragonite's going down. It's not my favorite alternate art, but it's definitely not the worst alternate art of all time or anything. And then next we have the Sandaconda by Naomi Sato. I like Naomi Sato a lot. I like Sandaconda a lot. I can't justify putting this over cards that are objectively like better than it. I think it's a very cute artwork though, and I like how Sandaconda is sitting by a radiator because it's a snake and they're cold-blooded. Um, that's cute. It's a cute card. Is it like groundbreakingly cute? Not really. Is it better than Leafeon? Probably not. Um, but yeah, I think it's not a bad card by any means. Genesect is one of my favorite cards in the whole set, honestly. Akira Komiyama knocked it out of the park. I think Akira Komiyama has wonderful style. I love how Smeargle looks in this card. I love how Genesect looks in this card. It's literally breakdancing. There's a boombox and everything. There's a bunch of cans on the floor. There's a trash can. It's so contained. It's such a contained, cute little beautiful alternate artwork. And Genesect is not a Pokemon that you typically like think is like super cool or anything, but I think that this card is super cool. And I think it stands out, honestly. I think the artwork stands out. I think it looks really cool. I think it's a really nice looking card. Just like the Greedent by Saya Saruta. So I think that they kind of redeem themselves from the Blissey. I think that this card is better than the Blissey. I don't think it's the worst alternate art of all time. I kind of like how Greedent's letting his like little minions carry the tree for him as they're stealing the berries from the tree. You got Greedent like the crime overlord as he is. Um, it's definitely better than their other Blissey. I don't see it. I don't think it's as good as the Dragonite, but it's still pretty cool. Um, this is a little bit too low. but I can't really put it anywhere else, so I'm gonna put it at the top of D tier. Next, we got Inteleon VMAX. This one's by Kazuma Koda. This one's cool because it has like a bunch of the raid dens that I was talking about, and this one is cool because it's like the top of a raid den. Like it kind of looks like it is one, as it's like charging up its sniper or whatever. I think that Inteleon is a cool Pokemon. Don't get me wrong. I don't think Inteleon is bad by any means. I just don't think this card is like my favorite Inteleon card ever. Not that Inteleon has a lot of cards, but I just don't think it's my favorite alternate art ever. I think Inteleon's G-Max form is pretty cool, but I don't think that this card is like as much. I really like the sky in this card actually. I think the sky is like one of my favorite parts of this card for sure, like the stars and stuff. Um, it's a cool card. It's very unique actually, now that I think about it. Though I think most alternate arts are supposed to be unique. I don't think it's better than the Duraludon though, honestly. So I'm gonna put it in D tier. The Mew VMAX by Akiragawa. So Akiragawa is my favorite artist of all time. This is not my favorite card that they've ever done, but I do own it, and I'm happy that I own it because I think Mew is a cool Pokemon. Mew deserves an alternate art. Mew deserved an alternate art by Kiragawa. Um, I just don't really understand what's happening in this card. I think Mew is like telepathically controlling these cars and booths and stuff like that. I like the colors. It's very colorful. It's very striking in that sense, but it's not my favorite alternate art by any means. Definitely not. Mm-mm-mm. I don't really like it as much as like some of these other alternate arts. I'm gonna put it like right here. This sounds fair to me, honestly. Gengar VMAX by Soso. Soso is a really cool artist, and I think that this card is really cool. Maybe not the best alternate art to ever exist in the Sword and Shield era, but I think it's really cool. Um, I like how his tongue looks in this card. I like how he looks in general. I think that's a funny pose. I don't think it's as good as the Rayquaza VMAX, but I think it's a perfectly fine A tier card. Yeah, that's cool. Um, yeah, it's definitely an A tier card. This card is a little bit too high. Nah, no, it's definitely not too high. And then Espeon by Koki Saito. This card featured many different Pokemon. You got 3 raid dens in it. I love this like kind of medieval town that they're in, like this folklore village-esque town that Espeon is in. Another sleeping Pokemon, but I don't have a problem with this one because they're by the ground. Kind of same thing that I had to say about the Tyranitar. They're close to the ground, and I think that Espeon looks fantastic in this card. I really love this card a lot. It's one of my favorite evolution alternate arts, and I'm gonna put it in S tier, honestly, with the Leafeon. I think Koki Saito is a really great artist. They deserved a fantastic all art, and they got a fantastic all art. And I think that card is really great. Honestly, I do think it is really great. And I don't like it as much as the Leafeon, but I do like it a lot. And let's move on to Brilliant Stars. All right. Time for Brilliant Stars as alternate arts. This Luminion V from Ligton is amazing, dude. I love Ligton's artwork so much. They're always so captivating and so awesome. I think this card is honestly like one of the most underrated alternate arts of all time. I don't care for Luminion as a Pokemon, but this card makes me care for Luminion. Look at how beautiful that water effect is. It's like a whirlpool, like yeah, so like a whirlpool, and you have like all these different colors. You have like the water effects and these amazing looking bubbles, the coral, the rocks, and everything. I think it just looks so nice. It's such a nice looking alternate art, honestly. I don't even know where it went. Where did it go? It's right here. Um, I think this card is really cool. I think it's like maybe not as good as Brent. I think I put it a little bit too high to start out with. Yes, I think it's better than the Umbreon VMAX, honestly. Hot take. Charizard. This is by Ryota Murayama. I think we talked about them already. They're fighting Venusaur. Charizard versus Venusaur. That's pretty cool. I think that's a really cool idea for a card. And I do like this card quite a bit, actually. I like how Charizard looks in the card. Um, it's like an angle that you don't usually see about Charizard. It's kind of like a over the shoulder kind of look. You get to see his whole body, his whole head, his arm. I think that's cool. You get to see the entirety of Venusaur. They're in the middle of a fight. That's pretty dope, honestly. It kind of is really, really cool, especially for a Charizard card. I don't care for Charizard at all. I'm not a Charizard fan. I think it's better than the Moonbreon though, and I love how man, Charizard looks so like nice and orange in this card. And its flame looks so nice. The vines from Venusaur look so nice, and the mountains do too. I think that's just honestly a really cool looking card. It's pretty baller if you really think about it. Um, Yeah, honestly, this card is really, really cool, but I don't think it's better than a lot of these other cards. I think it's like up here. No, it's higher. I don't know. There's just something about it. I think it's better than the Glaceon VMAX for sure. Tier lists get to a point where it's monotonous. I don't think you should take this tier list completely seriously, but I think it's not a terrible tier list, right? I don't think it's a terrible tier list. If you think it is, just let me know in the comments. Honchkrow by Zig. Zig is an artist who doesn't really have that many cards. I like how it's with a bunch of sleeping Murkrows. That's kind of cute. The sky looks really nice as well. There's not really a lot going on in this card though. I don't know. It's not my favorite alternate art for sure. Mm, maybe like low D tier, like mid D tier. It's like the most mid D tier card ever, and this card doesn't deserve to be that low. This card also doesn't deserve to be that low. Man, I'm really sorry for the Blaziken VMAX all art. Anyways, Arceus from Brilliant Stars by Koei, one of my favorite artists of all time. This card is so good. It's so good. Arceus is flying into the sky. It's radiant. It's so cool. What? This card is amazing. Dude, look at the colors on this card. It's like you have like this dark shading on Arceus as it looks right at the camera. You get to see the sky in the background. You have like this really nice swirly blue, and then you have like this really, really lush, nice green. A bunch of different aspects too. You get to see like this whole landscape, clouds parting around Arceus, mountains, like peaks, and you have like this town at the bottom, and like this like little middle bit right here. I can't really show exactly, but right there in the middle bit, on the left side. This card is beautiful, honestly. It's gorgeous. It's an S tier for me. 100%, 100% S tier. High S tier. One of my favorite cards in the entire Sword and Shield era. It's like Kawaii's artwork is so like subjective because I feel like some people love Kawaiu and some people don't really think Kawaiu is the best artist of all time. Um, dude, Kawaiu is amazing. I love all their art so much, and I'm just such a Kawaiu fanboy. Anyways, aside from that, let's just move on to the alt art from Astral Radiance. I'll be right back. All right, now it's time for Astral Radiance, starting us off with the Beedrill V from Narumi Sato. So this is what happens when you give Narumi Sato a Pokemon that's popular. Not super popular, but relevant, because it's Gen 1, it's Beedrill. I don't think Sandaconda is relevant because it's Gen 8, so that doesn't really count. But you have like this enormous horde of Beedrills that's converging onto this ginormous flower field where they're scrounging around, they're looking around, the sky is gorgeous in this card, the Beedrills are all super nicely textured, as, Sato cards typically are. You have all these different colored flowers, all ready to be harvested by this squad of Beedrills. Definitely deserves high praise, honestly. A tier at the very least. I think it's one of my favorites, from the Sword and Shield era, and I say that about a lot of the cards. But honestly, I think that this card is really cool. I have been a huge fan of Beedrill ever since like I was a kid, and like this card, it just makes me happy. There's just something about it that makes me happy. I think this Beedrill. Oh, that's Dialga. That's Sneasler. Where have the time gone? Okay, this Beedrill right here that's scrounging around in the flowers, that's my favorite one. But I think the card looks really cool, and I really like it a lot. Anyways, next we've got the Hisuian Lilligant by Kodama. And I think Kodama has some really cool artwork here. You get a lot of the like Hisuian Pokemon. You got Hisuian Quillfish. You got Hisuian what's his name? The dead Basculegion. You got Spheal, Boom. You got Pachirisu, Rufflet, Starly, excuse me. And then you have Swinub and a little Overqwil too. People that go, oh man, I love it when Pokemon cards have multiple Pokemon in them, and then they go, man, this card is so mid. Like, what are you talking about? This card is awesome. I love like how you have like a very clear sheet of ice that differentiates the above Lilligant from the below Basculegion. I think that's really cool. You also have like the tree, which is I don't know. They put a lot into this card, even though it's kind of a close up of the Pokemon. You get a tree, you get inside of a tree, you get on the side of a tree, and then you have the ground. So you have the Spheal on the ground, and then you have below the ground. So you have the Swinub underground. You also have like Lilligant on top of the ice, and then you have underneath the ice. You have all these other Pokemon. It's just very lively, honestly, and there's a lot going on in it. And I think it's a really cool card. I think it's better than Umbreon VMAX, and I think it's better than that one. And I think it's better than this one. I think it's in B tier. B tier is fine. B tier is good. And now we have Palkia by Oswaldo Cato. So this is another alternate art by Oswaldo Cato. Look at how different this is from their first alternate art. They really went into their style. They went all out for this card. I think Origin Form Palkia is the perfect card for something like this. This distortionist kind of like card. I think it's really cool. I love Origin Form Palkia. I think it looks really cool. I know it's kind of like looks like a horse, but I think that's kind of like the point. And I think this card is really cool. I'm gonna put it in A tier for sure. Machamp by Shinya Komatsu. Shinya Komatsu is a cool artist. They did the Sunflora from Twilight Masquerade, if you know what that card looks like. Shout out. This card is not my favorite though. I it's the most expensive card in Astral Radiance, and it's $180. But does it deserve to be $180? I think it does not. I will put it at the top of D tier because I respect Shinyo Komatsu. This card has a bunch of different Pokemon in it, so that's cool. It has Trapinch. I like Trapinch. Trapinch is cute. It has Maractus. I like Maractus actually, weirdly enough. Um, and I like Dugtrio. Not really. I don't really like Dugtrio at all, but it's cool. Um, Machamp is doing something in this card. He's carrying a bunch of different things, but it's just a matter of me not really particularly caring for the card that much. Not as much as other people do. Um, Yeah, I think there's better alt arts in this set. Speaking of better alt arts in this set, the Hisuian Sneasler by Okacheke. This card is beautiful. Dude, the colors on this card, they pop so hard. Look at how like the water reflects the sun rising. You have like the little Sneasels up top looking down at the big Sneasler climbing up the mountain. That's its main thing that it does. It climbs up mountains and like that's perfectly fine with me as long as we get this amazing looking artwork of it climbing this humongous cliff. It gives you a good sense of scale too because it's like you have like the Sneasels on top of the cliff, and then you have the Sneasler like hanging from the side. You have this enormous cliff, and then this little tiny like area down here. Like this is probably like a fifth of the size of this ginormous cliff that Sneasler's climbing, and I think that's really cool. I think that Sneasler is a cool Pokemon, very underrated. Um, yeah, I mean, I think this card is really cool. I think it's better than the Glaceon VMAX. And I also think this card is better than the Glaceon VMAX, and this one is too. Yes. Yes. Very yes. And then Dialga by Mitsuhiro Rita. This is my favorite alternate art in the Sword and Shield era, I think. Pretty sure. I think this card is my favorite alternate art in the Sword and Shield era. It is beautiful. The sunlight on this card is amazing. Look at these different colors that it casts. So you have green, orange, you have like two different suns casting different colors. And it's like look at the like ellipses. Like you have like this like convergent ellipses like all catching up into this one area. It all diverges in the middle. You have like this amazing circle. This circle has its own texture, by the way. In the card, you get to see two different like sun rays like scratching this Pokemon surface. You have so many different shadows coming from everywhere, and then you have Dialga flying into the cosmos. This card is amazing. I don't like this is the best card in Astral Radiance, bar none. Like I don't understand why the Machamp is so expensive when this card is so beautiful. I just don't understand. I don't know. There's nothing against the Machamp by Shinya Komatsu. I think Shinya Komatsu is a great artist. I just think that Dialga is so good. It's like it's so good. Anyways, moving on to Lost Origin. Yeah, we're kind of slowing down here because there's less alternate arts to cover per set, so that's kind of a good thing for me. But yeah, I think the Rotom V by Yuji Nishida is a fantastic card. I like Rotom a lot. I think Rotom is a little gremlin guy, and I think that that's really cool. I like how there's a bunch of like appliances here, kind of tying into that whole like Rotom idea of it taking over stuff. You have different kinds of like things. So you have the power washer for Rotom Wash. You got a vacuum for Rotom Mow, or like a lawnmower or whatever. You have the fan for Rotom Fan. I'm trying to look for other ones too. The TV, I don't think there's a TV one. That'd be cool if there was one though. But you also have like a super rod in the background. I don't know. I think this card has a lot of character to it. I think Rotom looking through a bunch of different appliances is like the perfect thing for Pokemon like Rotom. And I think that the colors on that one just like they really pop. Putting everything in this like area, but there's a reason. It's because they're just so good, but they just can't quite scratch A tier yet. And I think that's perfectly fine. You don't have to scratch A tier. You can be in B tier, and B tier is perfectly fine. Aerodactyl by Nurikabe. This card is pretty cool. It features a bunch of different fossil Pokemon. Sorry, I know you heard that. That was my pen clicking. Um, Ammonite. Boom, you got Ammonite there. You got Tirtuga, Archeops. You got Shieldon, Bastiodon, and Rampardos, and the little one. I don't remember what it's called. Um, and the volcano. You know, you have like dinosaurs roaming the earth. This is what fossil Pokemon looked like before they all got extinct. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Pretty dang cool idea. Super cool idea even. Not as cool as the Gengar VMAX though. And not as cool as, maybe as cool as the Genesect. Mm, yeah, that's fine. Mm, nah, sure. Gen 1 Pokemon by Gen 1 Pokemon side. Berserker. Berserker by Ghost-san. I like this card. I think it's pretty cool. I like how like it's you obviously can tell that Berserker entered the room the building because it's like you see it's like foot tracks. And it's like a cat, how it brings, you know, its owner like whatever, you know, cats in real life bring their owner like dead rats and birds and stuff. But Berserker brought home some little golden bottle caps, and I think that's pretty cool. It's probably just looking right at its owner, and its owner's probably looking right at it, which is probably what this POV is. You also have a missing gold bottle cap on the ground right there. That's pretty cute. I think this card is cute. I don't think it's bad. I think it's cool, honestly. But I think it is like a C tier card. I think it is cool though. And the Giratina by Shinji Kanda. So this is the card that everybody loves from the Sword and Shield era. This is the one that everybody will like fawn over forever, forever and ever and ever. And I think this card is amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a part of the fan club. I think this card is really cool. I like Shinji Kanda style a lot. I love how like chaotic this card is. There's no order. There's no absolutely no order in this card, but I think that's perfectly fine because this card is bona fide S tier. That is perfect. I'm perfectly fine with saying that. And A tier, boom. Oh, nah, S tier. I can't do that. Look at how like detailed that card is. I can't do that. Yes, let's just talk about the Pokemon Go Ultra Arts really quickly. I'll be right back. Let me just pull them up real quick. All right, I think I can confidently say that the Congealder Altart is the worst Altart in the Sword and Shield era. It's a 3D generated design. Altarts are supposed to be illustrated by amazing illustrators. Same with the Mewtwo. I love Mewtwo so much. Mewtwo is really, really cool. If you want a cool Mewtwo card, bro, I don't know if this is gonna load. Yes, this card. This is the cooler Mewtwo card, and it's a $1 promo. That is all I have to say. I think that I think that speaks for itself. There's something wrong about Mewtwo being a 3D generated Pokemon. It works for Pokemon Go. I get it. It works for Pokemon Go. That Pokemon Go stamp is stupid. I don't like it. I am complaining. I know, but I don't think this card deserves to be anywhere outside of the D tier because I think that there are so many beautiful cards that exist in this series like that need to be appreciated. I will put it here. That is my final say. I put it above this one. This one, but it does not go any higher than this on my list. But you know what? Ice Rider Calyrex, you go a little bit higher. Okay, I will be right back. I will go to Silver Tempest now. Okay, we have made it to the final Sword and Shield set, Silver Tempest. Unknown V by Toshino Aoki. I love this card so much. It's so cool. Um, Victory. It says Victory, and then it says symbol. That's what it says, I'm pretty sure. Victory symbol. That is so cool. Like, I love Unknown. Such a goofy Pokemon, such a random Pokemon to receive an alternate art, but hey, it deserved it. I think honestly this is an A tier card. I think it's like one of my favorite alt arts in the whole Sword and Shield era. If you don't agree, then that's totally fine. I don't really expect you to agree. I think it's really cool though. Speaking of really cool cards, I love the Lugia alternate art by Koei. Like I said with the Arceus, this card is really cool. I like the Fisherman. I like how Lugia is like looking straight into the Fisherman's soul. And you have like this really dark Lugia card. Like the storm clouds are making this Pokemon look extremely black, almost like a shadow. And I think that's like a really cool idea. It's a dark chase card. It's like a super, super dark chase card. It's like one of the coolest Lugia cards we've ever received, easily. One of the coolest alt arts we've ever received, easily. I love the colors on this card so much. I don't know, man. It's definitely S tier for me. There's a lot of cards in S tier, but there are a lot of cards that deserve to be in S tier. Okay, like I'm not just saying that it's an S tier just for saying that it's an S tier. I think that genuinely these cards all deserve to be S tier, and I think I will stand by that, honestly. Speaking of cool cards, I like the Skuntank Alt Art so much because I don't know, I love it so much. Jiro Sasumo did a fantastic job with this card. I love how like you have like Skuntank coming out of its burrow to look at the Paris like right above the ground. But you have like these really intricate designs of the trees with like the mushrooms growing on them, but the tree you also have to have its roots growing underneath the ground. You have like more roots as well. but I think this card looks really cool, honestly. I think it gets too much hate, honestly. I think it really does get too much hate. I don't think it's any higher than like a C tier card, but I think that's perfectly fine. I'll put it right here, right below the Leafeon, but right above the Mew Max. Kind of weird that the Mew Max is so low, but hey, that's how lists be. And then Reggie Draco art from Hataya. This card is amazing. I don't know. The style on this card is just really cool. I like Hataya's cards. I like how there's a Lugia in the background, and I actually do quite like Reggie Draco quite a lot. I think that there's something about this card that's so simplistic yet so beautiful. Like you have like the very detailed, like super hyper detailed like foreground, and it gets a little bit more like simple as you go farther back. You have like super detailed, a little bit more simple right here, super simple, just some simple tree outlines and stuff, and then like a Lugia outline. That's cool. I really like it. I'm gonna put it in A tier because I like this card a lot. I think Silver Tempest kind of knocked it out of the park with the alternate arts. They're only four, but hey, quality over quantity, right? These are all promos. Uh, I don't know if I can put them against actual alternate arts because they're not really the same thing. But hey, screw it, might as well. I'll be right back. Alright, this should be all of them. Firstly, Flareon V, alternate art. Technically, it's a promo, but whatever, same thing. By Tsurushiro Gunjima. First time we talk about him on this list. I like the Great Ball Pokeball etched quilt on the floor. You have like yarn balls. Flareon is lighting the fire. That's pretty darn cool. It's pretty cute too. I think it's a really cool card. I think it's a B tier card for sure. I think it's better than Moonbreon. I'll put it right here, right next to the Moonbreon, because I think it's better than it. Above. Above Glaceon VMAX. It's cool. Flareon VMAX, Okacheke, Slowpoke, Max Raid Dens, you following the pattern of VMAX cards. You got Executor. It's a cool looking card. Definitely like kind of alt art level. I think it's pretty cool. Not my favorite alternate art by any means. I don't know. I was kind of praising it just now, but I don't think it's better than any of these alternate arts. Honestly, I'll put it right there. And you know what? Yeah, it's fine. Jolteon by Nagimiso. Nagimiso is a great artist, and this is a great card. I love how it's like jolting up on top of a building. I think that's such a cool idea. Look, it's like the same thing that I was talking about with like the Metacham, how it like follows a path, or same thing I was talking about the Galarian Zapdos. Look, boom, you see a path, boom, boom, boom. It's like jolting around through the skies and stuff like that, and it's like this is where you catch up to it right over here, and it's like wrapped up in a ball. That's so cool. That's so it's awesome. Really cool. A tier. Boom. Light work. I don't know if it's better than the unknown, but I think it's a really cool looking card. I do know it's better than the unknown though. Jolteon VMAX, boom. Hasuno again. Hasuno banger, dude, banger, absolutely awesome. Why does it not have Jolteon here? I don't know. That's kind of weird actually. Why does it not have Jolteon there? Do none of them? That's actually weird. Aren't they supposed to? Anyways, whatever. I don't care. This card is amazing, beautiful. S tier. Not gonna talk about it. Not gonna further explain. Okay, maybe I'll explain a little bit. I do love this card a lot. It's my favorite promo, Sword and Shield promo probably ever. Um, I love how it's like jumping into the sky. You have like all these lightning bolts jumping onto the Pokemon. They literally are jumping onto it, and then you have like a bunch of Max Raid Dens in the back. You have like this village in the middle, and you have Jolteon literally jumping and exploding this like vibrant, dark electric pulse. I think it's really cool. That's it. I just think it's really cool. Vaporeon V. This is by Tika Matsuno. Um, mm, I think it's cute. I think it's cute. Yeah, I'll say that much. I think it's a C tier card. But where in C tier? That's the question. This is fine. That's fine. I don't need to elaborate. I've already been doing this for a long time. Vaporeon VMAX. VMAX, Gmax, Raid Dance. Bunch of Pokemon. Wishy-Washy. Milotic. A lot more Wishy-Washy. Another Milotic. Feebas. Frillish. Jellicent. That's cool. I like how the water is like 3D. This is by Atsushi Furusawa. This is better than the Dragonite. I think it's better than the Dragonite for sure. It's right next to Vaporeon. Nah, it's better than that. It's like right there. I don't think it's better than the Skuntank. I have a personal bias for the Skuntank, and I'll put it up here. I don't care. Yeah, it's fine. Charizard. Charizard. Charizard V-Star. Kiyotaka Oshiyama. Kiyotaka Oshiyama. I already talked about them like 2 times. I think they're really good artists. I really like this card. Um, Mewtwo's foot looks a little bit funny, but that's it. That's all I gotta say about that one. It's like it's B tier. It's but better than Moonbreon. I'm just doing it to make people mad at this point. Shibaringaru, Charizard VMAX. This one's pretty cool, actually. I like Charizard's Gigantamax form. I think it looks pretty dope. It's cool that it got like an alternate art looking promo, and I think it's kind of cool. Um, that's fine. Maybe a little bit better than that. Like that. Sure. Last one, Charizard V, and then I can go to sleep. Charizard V, this is the aftermath of the alternate artwork V from Brilliant Stars. You have like the Venusaur stepping in the back, or this is the prelude actually, I think, to that fight. That's kind of cool. This one's by Oswaldo Cato. Really good artist, really good artwork. Boom. Bottom of B tier. That's the list. If you're upset, tell me why you're upset. This is taking so long to do. Hope you have a good night. I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.